Hello, my fellow gamers. GamerDude back once again with some more informative gaming news. This will be the final in my series of 4 Avengers videos. But before we begin, y'all know the routine, or at least I hope you do by now. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe, because it would just be your good deed of the day. Same applies if you are a returning viewer. I would also like to apologise for the scarcity of content over the last few days. I've been in considerable pain as I've got a pinched nerve in my back, so it's just been very difficult to sit, let alone play games. So I've just been winging it, let's say. But anyway, on with the video. Now, it does appear that Marvel's agreement with EA Games is going forward, and they have entered into an agreement with the FIFA and Battlefield publisher to make at least 3 AAA video games based on Marvel heroes. Now, the first one, of course, is the previously announced Iron Man game from EA. I'm not sure how to feel about this, because EA games are just littered with microtransactions, and they themselves said single-player games were dead. Although, having played Jedi Fallen Order, I'm giving them some credibility. Not full credibility, let's say it's about 60-40. You know, we'll give them some credibility. But anyway, with all 3 of these games coming to consoles and PC, details about what's coming after the Iron Man game are rather scarce. In fact, there's nothing on them whatsoever. Each game will, however, feature its own story set in the Marvel universe, not the cinematic universe. These are not going to be movie tie-in games. Movie tie-in games are long dead. Movie tie-in games have long since stopped. We haven't had a movie tie-in game for Marvel or anything in a good number of years now. Anyway, perhaps known more for its sports or traditional shooter games, and more recently Star Wars, well, always been Star Wars actually, but you know what I mean, EA is looking to increase its offerings with the Marvel deal. Now, I'm guessing Marvel have gone ahead with this because Crystal Dynamics, and now its new owner, instead of being Square Enix, I can't remember the name of the owner. It just eludes me. But anyway, I know Avengers has a new owner. They have just abandoned any future Marvel projects they were working on, because Avengers, let's face it, it failed. It didn't live up to its hype. People hate it now. The player base is next to nothing. And its support is probably going to be ending this year. Guardians of the Galaxy, that was a little bit more successful than the Avengers, but the damage had already been done thanks to Avengers, and sales didn't do as well as they'd hoped, so they've abandoned any hopes of a sequel on that. So it would stand to reason that Marvel has gladly moved ahead with another studio. You know, they've gladly moved ahead onto EA Games. Now, I did find a quote stating, "We have an intentional, deliberate strategy to have a balanced portfolio," said Chief Operating Officer Laura Miele. I think it's pronounced Miele. I don't know. Forgive me, I'm terrible with names. She continues to say, "There will be Marvel fans who don't play other EA games, so this will be a great opportunity to bring them into the EA family." And I actually agree with her there, because I sort of gave up on EA games quite a while ago, you know, when they started pushing for microtransactions and away from gameplay to more online focused stuff, so you can buy those loot boxes and whatnot to progress. I sort of moved away from EA games because they didn't seem like a gaming company anymore. They just seemed like a profiteering, mongering thing, and I'm just not interested in that. So I do agree with her there. You know, it will bring more people back to EA Games. Continuing on, It's unclear if the second or third game will be centered on different Marvel characters like Hulk or Thor or any other Avengers. But it's doubtful that they'll do anything Spider-Man related, given Sony and Insomniac have those exclusive rights. So it would stand to reason that they're probably just going to focus on some of the mainstream Avengers, because even another studio is working on a Black Panther game and a Captain America game, so it would probably stand to reason that, you know, they can't do those either. So they're probably just going to work on other mainstream Avengers. In a way, it will probably be similar to what Insomniac did with Spider-Man and its Miles Morales spin-off game and its upcoming sequel. Nothing is out there about a release schedule or single-player or multiplayer focus was mentioned either, though we do know that EA's motives for Iron Man is a single-player action-adventure game. You know, whether they add in an online option later, letting you play as multiple Iron Men in one server or Iron Man and War Machine in one server, I don't know. But given EA's track record for microtransactions and whatnot, it wouldn't surprise me if that does become a feature. Now, EA Motive is the developer behind the upcoming Dead Space remake, of course, and they have previously worked on games like Star Wars Squadrons and Battlefront 2. But we'll just have to wait and see which other studios are involved with the two remaining Marvel projects. So yeah, that's it for this video then. That's literally all I could find. It's just a small article, you know, it's one quote from one of the developers, but at least we know it's happening, you know, more Marvel stuff is coming, and I'm glad to see that they are moving away from the focus of the MCU. You know, they're not pulling into the MCU vibe, you know, they're not giving us more movie tie-in games, which, as I mentioned, have been long dead now. Movie tie-in games have died long ago. So it's really cool to see these characters, like, coming back, you know, getting back into the spotlight in the video game world, because, you know, you had Marvel's Rise of the Imperfects back in the early days, you had the early Spider-Man games, whether it be the Raimi ones or the PS1 versions or Edge of Time saga, etc. So it's really cool to see these characters coming back into the mainstream. And as for Iron Man, Captain America, and Black Panther, the only Iron Man games we've really had were the movie tie-in ones to the MCU, and they stopped after Iron Man 2. So it's been a long time, other than Avengers, that Iron Man has appeared in his own video game. As for Black Panther, he's never had his own video game, to my knowledge. He's just cameoed in other Marvel projects, like Ultimate Alliance, for example. And Captain America, other than, once again, his MCU tie-in video game, which was his only one, I don't think he's had any video game of his own. He's just appeared like Iron Man in other crossover games, such as Ultimate Alliance or Future Rise of the Imperfects, whatever it was called. I just know it was a terrible game. But yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. What do you think of it all? Do you think EA Games are going to just ruin it and play on the microtransactions? Or do you think they're actually going to deliver a decent game like they did with Fallen Order? It's all up for debate, you know. It's all up in the air when it comes to EA Games. You never know what to expect when it comes to EA Games. Sometimes they can release an Etzel, and sometimes they can release an absolute bomb. Bomb not being the bad bomb, I mean a good bomb, you know, bomb in sales, that sort of thing. So yeah, once again, that's it for this video. Thank you all for stopping by. I do appreciate it. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe, because it would just be your good deed of the day. Same applies if you are a returning viewer. Stay tuned, because there's a lot coming from me in the coming weeks. Of course, Hogwarts Legacy is due out soon, so we'll be doing a lot of that. So yeah, that being said then, this has been Gamer Dude. Happy gaming, and I will catch you all in the next one, guys.